I'll knock it off on the harp. Ever since he did his solo on the program last week, there's no stopping that boy. His little fingers fairly fly over the strings. Well, hasn't the weather taken a change? If I may use the expression, there's a real nip in the air. I know this morning that Mother had my seersucker snuggies laid out for me with the monogram in mold. And it did feel awfully nice on those cold subway seats. Oh, dear. It's so nice to link pinkies via the Orsicon tube, as the expression goes. Certainly, it is nice to join once again with you out there. I was reminiscing only this morning. The children are still listening, I hope they're. I was indeed reminiscing over my childhood. And I was thinking of a dear friend of mine who lived next door, whose name was Stanley. For no reason at all, I've been thinking about Stanley all day. You have one of those days ever where you think about Stanley? Perhaps you didn't know Stanley. Well, then you might have difficulty in remembering him as I do. However, the wonderful thing about Stanley is that Stanley had a wonderful little pussycat when he lived next door. And I would think about Stanley and his pussycat, and so I wrote a poem, Ode to Stanley's Pussycat. Ode to Stanley's Pussycat. I was a strong child and considered quite manly. I lived in the suburbs, next door to Stanley. I planned to be a fireman, and he planned to be a doctor. His mother taught psychiatry. Honest, I could have socked her. She taught her son to exert his mind on animal and friend, and what he did to that pussycat was just about the end. Stanley's pussycat at first was just as nice as silk. He purred like other pussycats and always drank his milk. Then that awful Stanley put the pussycat on the couch and psychoanalyzed the poor pussycat and made him such a grouch. That pussycat's personality slowly began to change. His friendly purr became a snarl with an Ema sumac range. He'd sneak into the living room with steps as soft as satin, climb up on the cocktail bar and mix a strong Manhattan. He'd gulp it down and drop all shame and lose all sense of fear. Then he'd drink a second one and spit the cherry at the mirror. He'd drink till dawn, then down the street he'd stagger round and fat. Soon everyone was gossiping about Stanley's pussycat. His drinking went from bad to worse. 'Twas really most disturbing. He'd catch the mice at any bar in trade for a shot of bourbon. Stanley's pussycat became a drunk. He stole to purchase liquor. When nice pussycats drank milk and cream, Stanley's would hiccup and snicker. Soon he couldn't catch the mice at all, and the bars refused to pay him. The mice ran away when he sneaked up on them because his breath would always betray him. They'd run into their little holes as he tried to chase and fall. His bloodshot eyes grew wide in surprise when he lurched into the wall. Then one day the mice struck back. Such sorrow you never felt, sir. When laughing with zest from the medicine chest, they stole his Alka-Seltzer. This is Percy Dovetonsils saying goodbye from just outside the bookend.